Welcome to Well Since You Asked Me, the podcast where curiosity sparks conversation. I'm Lynn, your host. Joining us today is my BFF since 7th grade, Tara, an avid shopper and passionate consumer of beauty and aesthetics. She understands the impact of spending with intention. With a keen eye for fashion, design, and craftsmanship, she curates a life of elegance by recognizing the deeper significance of where and how we all invest our money. Today, we're going to dive into the power of collective support in building Black-owned marketplaces. We'll explore questions like how can we uplift and sustain our own economic ecosystems? And what strategies can we use to ensure long-term success? Join us as we explore the importance of community collaboration, resource sharing, and the steps needed to create thriving Black businesses. So grab your favorite drink, get comfortable, and let's get into it. All right, welcome.
Hey.
So a few weeks ago, many Black Americans participated in this coordinated economic blackout, where a blackout is essentially defined in the context of diversity, equity, and inclusion as a coordinated effort to withhold economic participation, such as spending, investing, or engaging with businesses as a form of protest or advocacy for racial or social justice. And since we're both avid shoppers, I want to check in and see how you did with that. But one of the other things that this effort called for was to intentionally support Black businesses. And I know also being both ardent shoppers and the fact that you are really intentional and very good at finding Black businesses, I was really excited to kind of talk to you about your experience and um, how other people can be more intentional in looking for Black businesses and supporting them. So before we get into it, how did you do during those 24 hours of no shopping? Because I know we love it.
Uh, so happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Of
And I'm
course.
just loving this whole platform and everything you're doing. We need this. We need it more than ever before. But I did pretty good, actually. It wasn't hard, actually, which is surprising because I'm always on some type of platform.
Mhm.
Something's always coming into my feed, the best skincare,
Mm-hmm.
the hair products, the clothes, whatever it is,
Yeah.
right? Um, but I've been very intentional this year.
Mm-hmm.
It started even before the year started,
Mm-hmm.
2024. I decided that I need to change my spending habits and what
Interesting.
was I actually spending my money on, right?
Mm.
And why?
Mm-hmm.
And I was spending it on a lot of things that I didn't need. So when all of this came about, I was 100% on board with it.
Mm-hmm.
And some of those companies that I won't even mention, I wasn't shopping there anyway because
Mm.
I was tired of going into these stores and the lines, even just for self checkout, going all
Mm-hmm.
the way to the back of,
Mm-hmm.
the clothing area or whatever
Yeah.
it was. I was just frustrated. It was like, this is just absolute ridiculousness.
Yep.
So it didn't really phase me. And I was just
Mm-hmm.
happy that I had prepared myself enough to have what I needed
Yep.
because that's what I'm concentrating on. What do we need? And what if I need something, where do I go to get it?
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So taking a break from those, some of those companies was not hard at all. And I was
Mm-hmm.
happy to do it. And I was happy to see the response
Yeah.
that people that we're moving in silence. We need to
Yes.
do that,
I love it.
because we've done the marches, we've done,
Mm-hmm.
the protests,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a time and place for everything. But when you're speaking with your economic dollar,
There you go.
that's something totally different. And they're
Absolutely.
going to hear you
Mm-hmm.
much louder than you holding up a sign or, marching on their grounds, whatever it is. I'm not saying those
Mm-hmm.
things aren't effective, but we got to think long term and really understand that the financial market is going to really, you know, open their ears and say, wait a minute, they're serious because we've always been able to push
Mm-hmm.
this demographic
Yep.
around. Like
Hmm.
they just take whatever, right?
Right.
Like they're still going to shop.
Yep. Yeah, so a couple of things, thank you for that. A couple of things I heard from it and that resonated with me is the shopping experience inside the store, right? So it's interesting that that has actually changed and it kind of resonates with what you just said that we'll just take whatever. So, like, for example, one of the major stores that was mentioned in this blackout, you go into that store and, like you said, the lines are so long and it just makes it like, "Oh, I just want to do it anyway." For me, I'm an online shopper. I love it. And it didn't
Hmm.
really impact me a lot because I usually take and do this financial diet the first 3 months of the year. And I've been doing that for over a decade. And so the challenge is if it continues and because I usually go in November and stock up on everything, all of my skincare, all of my everything, so that I so that I am
I've learned
able
from
to
you.
to sustain it through those 3 months of no spending. But also another thing that you said that I think that's really important is speaking that language that's going to make a difference with these corporations. And so, like you said, those signs and things, there's a place for that. But a lot of times when you're speaking to their economic down future or their dollars, that's going to make a big impact. I had a
Hmm.
friend that had talked about, well, do you think that, if we just do it on one day, is that going to make a difference? And I said, you know what? I kind of equate that to the fact of having one person show up at the Capitol and they're like, "Dear Black woman, why are you here?" As opposed to a million Black women showing up. And then all of a sudden, that's louder, the message is amplified, and there's just a difference on how that's received. And so I love the fact that it was a coordinated effort, that it was well received, and a lot of people participated in it. So one of the things that, like I said, that you do really well is you're very intentional in supporting Black businesses. So when
Hmm.
we think about that, one of the things that I kind of want to get your opinion on is when you're choosing a Black brand, do you feel like it's sometimes an upgrade rather than a compromise, or what are your feelings on that?
Well, I'll take hair care. Let me use that for
Mm,
example,
hmm.
because, I'm all about the products. I just love products. It's really sad, but I love it.
Sure.
It's an addiction, right? But let me just use hair care as an example because when your hair looks amazing, you feel amazing.
Yep.
It doesn't matter what you have on, you just feel good. It's a great confidence booster. So for me, connecting with those Black brands, it just feels like home. I don't have to
Mm,
explain anything. They already understand what I'm dealing with. The textures of our hair, um, the challenges we have, right? And so that's a definite upgrade for me
yes.
because, you know, there's value in that. And you feel like because it's understood, unspoken understanding, that
Hmm.
they're there to help you, right?
Yeah.
Versus shopping someplace else that really doesn't care, it's more exploiting our hair, um,
Mm,
and making those financial dollars off
yep.
of, what our hair is. And we see a lot of that because we
Yeah.
don't own a lot of the places that we shop
I
at.
love that.
And so I want to give back to the community. And there's a lot of great Black businesses out there for hair
Hmm.
care that are really good.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, some of them that do sell out not sell out, but sell
Hmm.
their brands to these larger corporations, it changes the formula. And
Uh-huh.
often
Mm.
it's not as good as it was before when they were just a small boutique,
Interesting.
small business. I
That
had
is interesting.
oh, so many this happened to. Again, I'm not going to put a lot of names out there,
Hmm.
copyright, stuff like that. I don't know.
Sure.
Just being cautious. But um, years ago, this small Black business started in New York, Brooklyn. And it was like the best. They made like this rosemary shampoo and all of these incredible ylang ylang. It was my favorite, right?
Hmm.
Um, sold out, sold. I can't. I don't want to say sold out, but sold and
Sure,
good
sure.
to the for the right the
Yeah, for
small
sure.
business owner. You want that. You want
Right.
your company to go nationwide. That's a
Yeah.
great thing.
Yeah.
I wish that for everyone. I mean, why wouldn't you take advantage of that, right?
Sure.
That's financial security for yourself and your family.
hmm
However, to reach a broader audience,
mm
the formulas change and you no
Interesting.
longer have the autonomy
Mm-hmm.
to, make it what you want it to be.
hmm hmm
So things change. You may still have, like, maybe you're not on the board, but you're not creating the formula anymore.
Interesting. That is a
Yeah.
super interesting point because one of the things that I struggle with, and I am very cautious in how I spend my dollar and my pennies. And I will do a cost benefit analysis before I buy a $50 lipstick. The pros and cons, reading all the reviews. By the time I get finished, they no longer produce it. And so I do rely a lot on reviews. And unfortunately, you usually get that when it's mass marketed through those larger different organizations. And what I heard from you, and which I really appreciate, is that the smaller businesses that are Black owned, they understand us. Like you said, they don't have to compromise. You don't have to explain what you need because they are us. And
Yes.
that should be enough for us to purchase because they know us. And so
hmm
I like for you saying that because it kind of changes the way my approach is to purchasing because I am very cautious and I will review everything, especially if it comes to my skin. Now, I will eat
Oh, yeah.
anything, including an egg that's been in my purse for a couple of hours. Everybody knows that. But when it comes to my skincare, no, I have to have a review. I need to make sure that I'm not going to wake up in the morning and have to run to a dermatologist. So, but I really appreciate that. And I think that that is worth exploring is that they know us. There's no explanation. There's
hmm
no, well, I need this because they already know they are us. That was really great. Thank you for sharing
Exactly.
that. Yeah, that was great. Great. So, I know that and a lot of times I will get my recommendations from you because, like you said, you follow a lot of social platforms, and so you'll get things in your feed. What makes you want to try a new product? Like, what's something that these Black businesses do that
Mm,
attracts you to it?
I'm all about presentation.
Mm, okay.
Um, you know, the aesthetics is everything to me. I'm an
Uh-huh.
esthetician,
Yeah.
that's what I do. That's is my passion. It's not my full-time job right now, but
Mm,
that's what I plan on, making my small business, my own aesthetic school at some point. I'm working hard to make that happen. Yeah, you know, I'm on IG, not a lot, but enough. And when I see something that looks amazing and, they have all the adjectives of what this can do for your skin, you got me, right? So I always like to invest in it. And, for me, living in Atlanta and also the Metro DC area, as long as I did,
mhm,
um, you just have all of these great networks of small businesses and you go, downtown Decatur and all these places who have these really unique boutiques and
mhm.
you go in because you want to support them and so I'll
Yeah, of
try it.
course.
I said, let me
Yeah.
let me see if this works because
hmm
everything's not going to work for your skin. I don't
Yeah,
care who it
sure.
is, right? You have to be cognizant of that. um but I do, look for, or should I say, now that I'm IG just knows I'm online. They're like, here she
Uh-huh.
is, and they bring it to me.
Sure.
They're like, oh, we know what you like, the
hmm
algorithm and everything.
Yeah.
So they bring it to me, and I have found some really unique um, small Black businesses just from being on IG and understanding like the farmers markets and things of that nature. And people are out there with their booths and their small businesses, and they have some, and I'll give them a try. I was like, let me buy it just because they're Black. I'll
Yeah.
buy it,
I love that. I love that.
and see what's happening. And then if it's something that, doesn't work or I'll contact them, and just because I want to help
Mhm.
them grow. I want to, not in a cruel way, just like, hey,
Mhm.
by the way, this is the experience I had. And if it works, then I'm going to put it out there even more. But um, I think, again, like you said, choosing things and how do I find it?
Mhm.
I say it finds me because
Yeah.
it just knows, like I said, these computers, these phones and everything, they
Mhm.
track everything we do. They know I'm out there shopping for
Right.
the latest and greatest
Yes.
skincare, whatever. And, being an
Hmm.
esthetician, I'm not loyal to one particular brand. You try so many different things, and I just learned that over the years, different skin types and things that are going on with the skin. You want to try different things. So I will recommend, like, you should be consistent with your skincare for the best results. But I know that was kind of long-winded, but I
No,
do
no.
enjoy, I love it. I love, you know, seeking out new products. So, but if I find a black product, I'm gonna go buy it just because I want to try it
Yeah.
and see what's happening with it and then spread the word.
And I thank you for spreading the word because that's usually how I get the information. So, a couple of things that you said that businesses are picked up by the bigger retailers. So, have you ever stopped shopping a brand because the retailer that is offering the product doesn't align with your values?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. I mean, and I think we all have had those experiences. You know, I'll take when I won't mention a name, but I was in a store once, and this is I'm gonna date myself, but this is when we were still writing checks. I can probably think of a more recent experience, but I'll just use this because it really impacted how I felt about this company. Um, and I went in the store all the time. I always shopped here, and uh, it was a grocery store. I'll at least say that. And I went to there's a customer service thing up there where you can get help and everything. And the lady, you would have thought I was stealing everything in the store. She asked me for
Mm,
3 forms of ID.
wow.
She asked me for all of this stuff. And, clearly racially profiling me.
Sure.
Um, and I was so livid. I went home that day and I wrote this letter that was just blazing, right? That's
Good
the best way to get
letter.
people.
Yes, I love a good letter.
Like, right? If you're angry about something,
Hmm.
get on their site and write those.
Yeah.
They listen to that because they don't want their
Hmm.
brand affected.
Mm.
Well, I blasted everything that went on, right? And so they apologized, but when that is something that's continually happening, then I'm done. I'm out.
Mhm.
Or when companies on purpose discriminate against other people because they're different or they have different values, that bothers my spirit.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I can adjust easily to not shopping or giving you my business. And
Hmm.
also, letting other people know, hey, this was my experience with this. And you can go online and see some of these companies. I mean, we're seeing them now. They're pulling these DI programs. It was popular when George Floyd was murdered,
Sure.
and they want to jump on the bandwagon and say, oh, let's make a profit. They didn't care
Hmm.
about us in the first place,
Right.
but it
Right.
was a trend for them,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
buy into this. Let's provide X amount of dollars, and we'll say we're going to contribute to, um, you know, the challenges that uh, are happening in our society. And now they're pulling out, or they've pulled out, right?
Hmm.
And they want us to still be status quo, and because we've been status quo, like
Right.
we're still going to shop with you, we're still going to go in here, we're still going to do this, and we have to stop that because there's other
Hmm.
alternatives, and we can create our own alternatives.
I
And I
love that.
I definitely, if we don't show them that this
Hmm.
matters to us, then we're just going to accept the crumbs they give us, and
Yeah.
I mean,
No,
I'm
for
not going to do
sure.
that anymore.
And so I am a big fan of writing a letter. I'm just a writing letter fool that if
Mhm.
there's an injustice, I'll do everything. I'll put it on every social media platform that I can find. So that kind of, I was going to ask you what your thoughts on how women who do love to shop can use their spending power to influence the industry towards real diversity and inclusion and not this performative response that we saw after George Floyd. In addition to
Yeah,
writing letters, in addition to, which I think is, in my opinion, is very powerful to use social
it
media
is.
to influence because, like you said, they don't want to impact their brand. Um, do you have any thoughts on how we can support each other in standing up our own marketplaces, going into different websites? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, also we have to remember everyone's not on social media.
Mm,
I have an IG account because I like
mm-hmm.
to browse. I, as you said, social media is a blessing and a curse. It's great. I think we really start with our own communities, what is around us first.
Yeah.
It starts, I mean, it sounds cliche, but it does start with you. There's so many, I'm sure we all know people who have their own businesses.
Mm-hmm.
How do we invest back into them? Start with that. Start creating um, those platforms in your own
Mm-hmm.
community. Maybe you'll have a meeting, just start inviting people to take part in, social activities and start with that. You know, Also understanding who is in leadership with our
Mm-hmm.
voting and,
Mm,
um, you know, really paying attention to that and making sure that when you vote, it's not just about the presidency. You have to vote at your local level, your mayors, your city council
mm-hmm.
people. Um, there's so much that's going on that, you know, oppresses us. And if we're not putting the right people in office, and even when you do, they're fighting the good fight. I have a
Yeah.
friend who was a councilwoman in Atlanta, and when she got in there, she found out that a lot of people were just, taking
Right.
kickbacks,
Yep. Yep.
right?
Yeah.
So
Mm.
you you're fighting a big system.
Yeah.
So, take those small bites
Mm.
and we got to think in micro instead of macro. Like everything doesn't have to
Ooh,
be this big
I
explosion all
love
at
that.
once,
I
but we
love
got to
that.
start somewhere. And if we start with us and build that out, you know, we're going to get the momentum we need to take care of our own communities. We can
I love
shop in our
that.
own neighborhoods first,
Yeah.
right? And then we can expand that. What we got to build up what we have, the
Mm.
resources we have that are right next to us. It's great to shout out those companies that already um, have the marketing and the products that we need. But what can we do in our own neighborhoods with our families? Let's start where we're at. And I think that's even more powerful because then we don't have to go so far out trying to find things because everyone doesn't have the resources. Some people
Yeah.
may have to shop at those stores that, we're not wanting to shop at right
Mm-hmm.
now because that's their
Mm-hmm.
only option.
That's their option. Yeah.
We
Yeah.
all need food and water. We need
Right.
that. I'm talking
Yes.
about your needs. So
Yeah.
yeah.
No, that's really good. And I think that sometimes when you think about being an advocate or being active in politics or whatever it is, it can become daunting and overwhelming. And so I think that's really good advice to say, start small. It's just looking at your
Mhm.
own community and what you can do to prioritize shopping at Black-owned businesses, spreading the word, things like that. It looks like it's a small effort, but it can create this momentum, and your voice and your message gets amplified the more people that you bring into it. That's really great. I love that. Yeah, so it's one of the things that I was kind of thinking about when you said that is, supporting those Black-owned businesses contributes to the representation and diversity. And, for me, I love
Mm-hmm.
makeup. So for the fashion and the
Mm-hmm.
beauty industry. And so when you're supporting that and when you are, like you said, you and I went to Atlanta, and I love the fact that you knew all of these Black-owned businesses and we had that experience. And
Yeah.
one of the things that when I came back to Austin, one of the things that people were saying, "Oh, where'd you get that?" And then you were able to tell them, "Oh, I got it at this little
Yes.
boutique in Atlanta," and they usually have a website. So making sure that that message is spread and that you're allowing businesses that don't have those marketing dollars to take advantage of the purchases that you made. Do you have
Right.
any thoughts or anything on that one?
On the boutiques and the
Yeah,
businesses.
yeah, yeah. Just how do you
Oh,
how do you make sure that more people have eyes on that because they don't
oh
have those
yeah.
marketing dollars?
Yeah, word of mouth is powerful.
Hmm.
It still works.
Yeah.
Um, I love to spread or tell people about my experiences, and I often do. I don't mind telling people where I shop.
Hmm.
I want us to win more than anything.
Ooh, I love that.
And like I said, in my family, my good friends, um, everyone is has a passion about wanting to do better and have financial freedom, right? So I do my part in trying to make sure that they get the exposure that they need. Again, I'm not that savvy with social media myself. I'm kind of clueless, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Just operating Zoom can be challenging for me.
Right.
Trying to get on Google Meets, I'm like, what am I don't know. So, just being honest, I am
Hmm.
clueless when it comes
Yeah.
in. So for me, when I'm on a platform like this
Hmm.
and having the opportunity to say, hey, why don't you visit Sageness, which is a
Hmm.
boutique that I just found out about. I'm in California right now, and a young Black woman who makes her own soaps, and they're all homemade, and she can make beautiful gifts. And
Yeah.
so, you know, I I'm so happy that I got to meet her. And this is at a farmer's market. I didn't even know this place existed. But I'm always looking for something to
Yes.
do here, so and also a good friend of mine, um, she makes body butters. I mean, silky soft. I'm gonna get the right name because I want people to know. I'll make
Hmm.
sure that I have everything. But your skin will be the softest it's ever been in your life. I promise you. These are people who have a passion for this. My own brother, Brim of the World, he owns his own company. And this is for, fitted hats and hoodies and tees. And the company's incredible. His product is incredible, and all three of them have a passion for what they're doing. They're Black businesses and they're serving their communities, and they're putting excellent products and customer service, you know,
Yes.
out in the atmosphere. And that's what we want because we can shout out people, we got to be ready. We got to be
Yeah.
ready to do this. And so, in being ready, I mentioned I'm not savvy with social media.
Hmm.
And people, even though they have small businesses, they don't always have the marketing dollars to put everything out there. So we got to be patient and make sure that, if of people locally in your area, go out there and support them so that they can build that revenue, to expand more. Because, even though my brother has a website, Brim of the World, the other two ladies don't, so
Mm.
they have their IG accounts and you can DM them and you'll get the best customer service ever and a great product. So, there's different ways. I don't know if I answered the question,
No,
but,
you did. Yeah, for
uh,
sure.
you know, there's not just one way. It doesn't have to be
Yeah.
this one way. It doesn't have to be this, oh, if you're not on Facebook and you're not
Hmm.
on this and then you just don't exist and you're not going to get the recognition.
Yeah.
That's not fair.
Yeah.
That's
Find
just
your
not
way.
fair.
Find the way. Yeah,
Find
for
your
sure.
way. Everyone does not want to be on those platforms. And I think
Hmm.
we're learning too, the people who own these platforms, do they deserve for us to be on there?
Now that's a very good question. Yeah, for sure. Thank you for sharing that. And so Sageness, the homemade soaps and gifts, Brim of the World for fitted hats and hoodies, and then Simply Soft all natural body butters. I'm going to have
Yes,
links to all three of those on the website. And so I 100% encourage everyone to go and support these businesses. And then Tara, for you, I know that you are looking to start your own business, and I
yes.
cannot wait to support you and
Yeah.
have you back on so that we can talk about your experience with being a small business owner and how you've navigated that experience as well. So I appreciate it. We are almost at time. And so I want to, before we close, I want to do well since you asked me. And so I want to ask, what are you watching or what can't you wait to stream? What's going on in your world?
Well, I'm watching Severance right now. I'm just all in. The show is incredible. And that is,
Yes.
I tried to wait for all the episodes to drop, but it's so intriguing. And it's something to look forward to,
Yeah.
like comes on every Friday night. And I love it. You know what? There's so much stuff out there. To be honest with you, I've kind of went back and watched some of the oldies and goodies. I
Okay.
did discover Abbott Elementary, which I don't
Oh,
watch a
yeah,
lot of
for sure.
cable TV, but I
Hmm.
I binged it on streaming, and it was actually pretty good. I didn't, I hear all the accolades about it and everything, and it's really interesting, the education piece and teachers and stuff like that. It's pretty funny. So I've been enjoying watching that. I think I streamed through all three seasons within like a couple of weeks. So that was pretty cool. There's a lot of great stuff. I'm waiting for, is it Dara from Detroit? I want her to come back with season two. I'm ready for that. So, but
I cannot wait for that to start back up. Yes,
yeah,
for sure.
but yeah, I think my brain is just on overload on all the stuff that I have saved to watch, and I haven't,
Yeah.
started it yet.
Yeah, and I've been watching Paradise. I
Oh
love it. It's on
yeah.
Hulu, and Sterling K. Brown, yay! I
Yes,
don't
yes,
even
yay, yay.
half the time I don't know what's going on because I'm so busy watching him. And then I started White
He's a good one
Lotus.
to watch.
Isn't he
Hmm.
though? I started White Lotus 3,
Oh
and I
yeah,
love the fact that Natasha Rothwell has more of a prominent presence this year. So she's back. And
she
within
was
the
amazing.
first 5 minutes, it was a what the WTF. I'm like, what in the world is happening? This show is crazy. So
I
I
got to
think,
get on that. I
oh my
forgot.
gosh, you totally have to
Yeah,
get on that. I know we were supposed
that's
to
right.
watch it together.
That's what I was
So
about to say, but we had the dates all mixed up, and then I just
it
got thrown off because we are
was
like,
me.
"Is it tonight? Is it tonight?" No, it's not tonight. So I got to get on that because I
Yes.
love my man too, Walt
Yes.
Goggins. That's my
Oh
dude right
yeah.
there.
Yeah, Boy Crowder.
That's
He's
my
back.
guy.
Yes.
Justified. What?
Yes.
Even
Yes,
though
for
it's not a black
sure.
show, it's an amazing one
It's an
now.
amazing
Just
show. Yes, it is.
amazing show. So yeah.
Well, Tara, I thank you so much for joining me. And that's about it for this episode of Well, Since You Asked Me. And I hope that this conversation has left everyone with something to think about, something to question, and it's going to spark that conversation. So make sure that you are liking, subscribing, sharing, and commenting. And I want to thank our executive producer, John Dunson. I want to thank our audio engineer Ryan Sexton. And I also want to thank our new art designer, Ellen Jacobs. And with that, I will ring off and bye.